Today, we're joined by Senada Greca, a globally recognized trainer, mindset coach, founder of We Rise, co-founder of Aonic, a Nike Skims athlete, and yes, the personal trainer to Kim K. Born in Albania and raised with big dreams and a lot of determination, Senada built her life and career through resilience, discipline, and a deep belief in the power of strength, both physical and mental. With an MBA, extensive training certifications, and a community of millions around the world, she's become a trusted voice in science-backed fitness, intelligent nutrition, and sustainable wellness. In this conversation, Senada shares her journey, why strength training is about so much more than appearance, and how movement, mindset, and nourishment can completely change the way we show up in our lives. We also talk about her holistic approach to wellness, including breath work, meditation, and building confidence from the inside out. This episode is about making time for your strength, your health, and your growth. And I'm excited for you to hear this. So let's make time for Senada. Senada, welcome to the Make Time podcast. We are so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
So we would love to just get to know you a little bit and just everything that makes you you.
Where do I start? Well, I guess we can start from the beginning. I was born in Albania and moved to the United States at about the age of 15. There was a lot of turmoil going on in Albania at the time, and my parents wanted a safe place for their children. We were fortunate enough to come here with our green cards as a legal immigrant. So it made the process a little bit easier and smoother for us, but still it had its own struggles being from a different country, a different culture. The bullying that came with it, the quite not fitting in, and that led to a lot of personal struggles when it came to depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and then on top of that, being the only English-speaking person in my family, had to assist my family in their path in the United States. So whether it was dealing with lawyers, dealing with the medical industry, dealing with finding them jobs or helping them find jobs. So it kind of like led to me growing up a little bit before I needed to, and kind of added to all of the struggles at the time. And at first, fitness was something, or sports was something that I enjoyed because I've always played sports and I participated in dance groups, and it turned into a way to shrink myself, to keep myself smaller, to kind of control something that felt controllable in a very uncontrollable world of mine at the time. And later on, though, I discovered how I can utilize fitness actually to help step into my strength and utilize it to get out of all of those things that were created, which is anxiety, depression, eating disorders, to support my long-term health in a much more sustainable way. So it was much more stepping into that health, into that strength versus shrinking myself and becoming smaller, and everything else fell into place, so to speak. I saw what health and fitness and strength training did for me, my confidence, my just ability to handle things, to handle life. And I decided that was worth sharing with the world, with especially women, who for so long society did a disservice by always promoting rail thinned stick figures that was just not attainable and not sustainable and healthy. Society has done women a disservice in that, and not promoting strength. Even to this day, I'll still get comments of, you look like a man, or which it's sad to see, not in a personal level, but the message that it's sending to the broader audience of females, especially impressionable females. Like, for me, it is so important to instill that message of strength and occupying your strongest self, not just for aesthetics, but for your long-term health, and sending that message, especially to young women. So that's kind of in a nutshell where I've been and where I am now, having the We Rise app, which inspires and helps alongside with my social media channels to help women step into the strongest versions of themselves, not just physically, but mentally and in other areas of their lives as well.
I think you're such a beautiful example of strength and a strong woman in so many ways. So I follow you on social media, and I'm often and so inspired by your message. And I really am so excited to have you here on the Make Time podcast today, because our whole mission is to empower women to make time and also to take their brain health seriously. So I think all this goes hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we think about brain health, we know that exercise is a really important pillar for our brain. So let's start here. What is the most important thing you make time for, and why?
There's a few things, but the primary thing that has shifted my mental space and my physical space, so to speak, has been strength training. That was the first, and movement in general. So I started with movement. I ran marathons. And then when I really stepped into strength training is when kind of things progressed and shifted. That for me is a pillar and non-negotiable. Like I'll always make time. If I'm not strength training, which is for me, and as science shows, ideal for our brain and physical health, but movement at the very least of some sort. So for example, I'm going on a snowboarding trip. Am I going to be able to strength train every day? Not, most likely not, but that's like my way of movement, my way of non-negotiable movement in the day. And then when it comes to eating nutritious whole foods, that's another priority of mine. And sleep, I think even though we've been bombarded by all the posts of how sleep is important, it truly is. And research shows more and more how crucial it is to not just our physical strength, but our mental strength, our mental health now and in the long run. So especially for people, as we know, there's an occurrence of Alzheimer's. 2 out of 3 people with Alzheimer's are women. So for women, it's that much more important that we cover all of these 3, I call foundational topics, which is movement, strength training in specific, nutrition, whole food nutrition, and then sleep and recovery. So those I consider my non-negotiables, my daily non-negotiables.
Can I just chime in here on something that I learned yesterday? And I hope I don't butcher this. But what I learned, and it corresponds to strength training, that when women work on their muscles in their legs, like their quads and your muscles in your legs, that it actually increases your brain size.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear this? By like 2%,
Yeah.
like the hippocampus all of a sudden starts to kind of like beef up as well?
Yeah, that is true. I actually did a post about this some time ago, speaking that they did a twin study. So there's 2 twin studies of women, 2 women, twins, one that strength trained and had bigger, stronger legs, had a bigger hippocampi than the twin that did not have the leg strength. So, and that's where like our memory recall, our centers for that memory, that brain health partially exists. So it is very true, absolutely, that there is, as we like to joke, strong thighs save lives. And it was a joke, but in reality,
No, it's true.
it is actually.
I think we need to do a squat challenge for brain health coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I love that. That's something. I mean, I have very strong legs, which I'm very happy to say.
Great.
And I feel like, okay, that's good. Then my hippocampi is doing very well. My hippocampus are doing well.
You're doing great. So I am also a former runner. And so I love that we have that in common. And I'm just actually kind of late to getting started in my strength training because I'm a self-admitted cardio junkie. Like I love that runner's high, like that just kind of like mental boost and mood boost you get from cardio. And so I really have been prioritizing strength training. I'm trying to kind of step away from the insane amount of running I was doing just from a health standpoint. It was getting to the point where it's getting kind of hard on my body. So I'm here to learn. So I'm so excited. So for people who are really just starting to get into strength training, can you give our listeners 3 actionable tips on what they should do?
Any form of movement is great, but then there is obviously levels of the forms of movement that are most beneficial to your health and longevity. And I maybe have said it too many times, but start small. Start even with 5 minutes. Start by the second point would be to learn how to move properly, so that we're doing the exercises in a proper way, breathing form, so that we don't hurt ourselves, especially, as we get a little bit older. There's things that we need to be mindful of, and then following a plan versus doing random workouts that perhaps you see on Instagram that look cool. They could be cool, and there's cool and useful exercises, but start slow, start moving well, and then have a plan for it. I would say those are the three good starting points and actionable items to get somebody to lift and strength train.
If you want to try and set up a plan for yourself, could you suggest where a woman would look to, set up a plan that could work for them?
Absolutely. Not to give my We Rise Up app a plug, but
no, you should.
Choosing a fitness app, and I'd call the We Rise app a personal development app, because we have different experts in different fields. Like, besides my workout programs, we have some Pilates, we have overcoming traumas, we have overcoming imposter syndrome, et cetera, et cetera. So again, to help in all of the areas, but perhaps choosing an app or a platform like the We Rise app, where you can go and plug in the information, your attributes, your goals, how many days you want to work out, and it spits out a program that's designed for you and for your goals. And if we're talking in general terms, for somebody that's just starting out, start with perhaps 3 days. 3 days of strength training. And again, first starting with body weight so that you can learn the proper form of the exercises, and then increasing slowly over time when you feel like you have achieved that proper form, that mind-muscle connection. I think mind-muscle connection sometimes is undervalued, but it's huge. It's what's helped me not just move well, but achieve the results that I have. And there's studies to back up that mind-muscle connection. And it also, besides helping you with achieving the best results and staying in good form, it also brings you in that meditative state that I think it's so beneficial in cultivating when we're doing anything. Then you could become your moving meditation at the same time that strength training or that movement can be. And it can have the similar benefits to running, for example, where you're getting those endorphins. If you're not allowing yourself to be with the movements, but think about your to-do list, but truly be present.
That's what I love about strength training. And I've been doing it for a while. I feel I'm not really so much a cardio junkie. I would like to be, but I'm not. Is that when I'm strength training, I'm very focused, on the exercise, on my form, to make sure that I don't injure myself. And then when I am running, it's easy for me, if and when, for my mind just to kind of wander and go elsewhere. So I kind of do like this meditative state that I get into when I'm strength training.
Yeah, I do call it my moving meditation. It's really my therapy. And when you're finding those points where it feels a little bit harder, I always say, yes, be mindful of not hurting yourself, but can you go into that feeling, and can you just almost relish in it? Because there is, it's not always not painful in a good way. It can absolutely be challenging, but relish in that challenge and really see it for what it is, and what can you learn about yourself in those moments.
My trainer Kwok always tells me this is the hardest thing you're going to do today.
Very true. And I also like to say that it's temporary. That's a lot of the time we think that it's going to last forever, and what's next, and it's temporary. So stay with it. Give your body that gift of movement, of intentional movement.
Yeah, so I've just, like I said, I'm pretty new on strength training. I've done a lot of Pilates, which is similar, but like really I'm starting to lift a little heavier. And as a petite person, I am really such a beginner. And so I'm trying to really allow myself with my little weight to build as it comes. And we have like a joke in my house when I work out with my husband, and I turn into this like Gold's Gym persona, like make all these noises. It's so funny, but like I allow myself to really
Get in it.
kind of get in it, and it's been fun. I think it's been fun,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to see some results. A question I have for you, and it's something that comes up often with women, is just the protein conversation. There's been so much chatter about how much protein we need to be consuming every day as women, especially in midlife. What are your thoughts on that?
First, I'm going to address what you said about the grunting. And, I think for so long, women have been told to, be quiet, be small, be tender, be delicate. And I think it's so amazing to step into all of those expressions of ourselves in all of the forms, whether it is the grunting, whether it is the sweating, and all of the things that make us who we are, that make us women, that make us human, and make us strong. So good for you. I encourage it, all of the grunts and all of the things that come with it. And then when it comes to protein, it is crucial. It is crucial that we consume enough protein to sustain not just working out and strength training, but all of our physical functions. There's so many functions in our bodies and brains that are dependent on protein. So a general rule of thumb, and this used to be lower way back, and now studies are always upping the protein, it seems, more and more, but around 0.8 to, I tend to be on the higher side of 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're talking about a person that is 140 pounds, for example, like to round it up, let's 140 grams of protein per day would be a good amount.
What does that diet look like then? Like what does breakfast, lunch, snacking, and dinner look like if you are looking at 140 grams?
For me, it's all focused around protein. So I always try to prioritize, okay, so in every meal and every snack, where is my protein coming from? And that could be for breakfast, it could be 3 eggs and a Greek yogurt. So 3 eggs, it's about 7 grams of protein in each. That's 100. That's 21 grams. And then you can have a cup of Greek yogurt, which can contain 15, 20 grams of protein. So there you go. There's about 40 or over 40. Sometimes I even like to put a scoop of protein in my yogurt. I love doing just Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is better than just plain yogurt. It has a higher protein content. And then for lunch, it could be a piece of chicken or salmon with your greens. I love, again, that's where we get our antioxidants and micronutrients. So as much greens as you can put in front of me, I'll eat with perhaps, sourdough or sweet potato and some healthy fats there, like avocados. I love including blueberries. So perhaps I'll have the blueberries for breakfast. And then for a snack, I'll do either a protein shake or, again, yogurt with protein powder. I'll add my blueberries. I'll add some nuts in there. Walnuts are my go-to. They're proven to be kind of like the superior nut, if you will. And then for dinner, it's similar to my lunch. I'll, again, a piece of either steak or chicken or salmon with my greens, and then a good carb like sweet potatoes or sourdough bread, like if you're that bread type of person, and that should bring you pretty close, if not. And then if I want dessert, I have a sweet tooth, so there is some recipes that I've posted on my Instagram that are these barks that are kind of like, if you like ice cream, and I'll usually mix together a protein powder with any type of milk that you prefer into a thicker consistency, layer it on top. You can place sliced strawberries, and I sometimes like to sprinkle a little bit of granola, and it gives you kind of like that cheesecake, frozen cheesecake bark, as I call it. For me, if you try to think of including a certain amount of protein in every meal or snack, then that is achievable. It's achievable. I think it's just been that we've been not educated well enough to know what each meal contains and what it should contain for health. Thinking that, I've had this discussion even with my sisters not long ago. Well, I have an egg for breakfast. I'm like, that is not nearly enough protein. So just getting some more education around that.
I love it. I mix protein powder with my yogurt too, my Greek yogurt too. And I think it's a great way to start the day and just check a box off. And I think like if I start that way, it's easy for me to continue through all my meals, kind of prioritizing the protein. I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
This has just been so helpful. I think what we always love to ask our guests, what are you not, like you're so busy, you're working out with all these amazing people, you're posting on social, you have your app, you're doing so much. What are you not making time for that we're going to have you commit to making time for today?
I love breath work and meditation, and that is definitely something that I've let fall off the wayside for a bit. I went to Bali and I got my certification, and before that to India for breathwork and meditation, and it was so transformational in my life. And I've definitely let that go a little bit. So I'm committing to doing at least, as I say, 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day for that.
I love. So, Senada, tell our listeners, please tell them about your app and how they can find you.
Absolutely. My biggest social media platform is senada.greca, and then my fitness and personal development app is called We Arise, and that has its own social media page as well as being on the Apple Store and Google Play, and also the website wearise.xyz.
Senada, I want to do anything that you're doing because you look absolutely incredible. So I'm literally going to download the app after we get off.
Thank you.
We're going to download it together. And I am so happy to have had you on today. I think this is a intimidating conversation for a lot of women. It shouldn't be. And we should be all making time to just be stronger.
Strength train and grunt while you do it.
Exactly. I love this. Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope that listening to our podcast has empowered you to make more time for yourself. So make sure to subscribe, please leave a review, and share with a friend who could use a healthy reminder on the importance of making time.
And make sure to keep tuning in as we will continue to bring on incredible guests to share their Make Time tips on our upcoming episodes. And come say hi over at Make Time Pod or visit us at maketimewellness.com.
Until next time, make time.